Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. In this episode, we're finally going to do another movie commentary. It has been ages since we did this due to scheduling slip-ups and haphazard patterns, mostly caused by Gurdette. Cloud picked out the movie this time. We're going to be going through the British zomcom, also known as a zombie comedy, Shaun of the Dead. It is, it's actually a very good zomcom, but I don't like this movie that much. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We are going to be starting specifically just before the Universal logo starts, revealing itself to us. This is honestly a very good zombie comedy. I just have problems with I have problems with how relatable they failed to make our characters, to be perfectly honest. Because our characters are good characters indeed, but they don't feel they don't feel as relatable as they're trying to make them. I know that doesn't make all that much sense, but that is my personal perspective on this.
Which is an ironic statement about a movie that has themes in romantic comedy while also with zombies.
Yeah.
Which, if there's anything we found in all the content we've done in Rock Rabbit Commentaries, is that we definitely cannot relate to anybody dealing with a zombie apocalypse.
Or romantic comedy shenanigans, honestly.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
I am speaking for myself. Jesus. Like, okay, if you're on the awkward date or you have two different dates scheduled, why the fuck did you do that to yourself?
You're just setting yourself up for failure, bro.
Failure on 3 different counts, too. Jesus. All right. So, yeah, I don't like this movie as much as I'm supposed to, but it is a good zomcom. Cloud, what are your opinions before we start this movie?
I adore this movie.
Awesome.
So, before we started, Gerda and I were swapping stories about how we first heard about Shaun of the Dead. My experience with the movie was I was originally teased to this movie with, interestingly enough, one of the advertisements embedded in the DVD release of Van Helsing, and Van Helsing was one of the early... Actually, Van Helsing was the very first movie commentary that Gerda and I did for Rock Rabbit Commentaries.
Yep.
And I didn't really pay much mind to it. I got that it was a parody because Shaun of the Dead rhymes with Dawn of the Dead, the 1967 George A. Romero zombie flick that was ultimately a satire as well as a horror flick talking about consumerism in America. Shaun of the Dead is a slapstick comedy set in Britain, made by funny men who are funny. They make us laugh. They are going to make us laugh, and you will laugh too. I then, after some time, began seeing this movie on Cinemax when I used to have a Cinemax subscription, and I saw this movie over and over and over again, and then I saw it at my buddy's house, and basically this movie has stuck with me ever since. And we're talking about a 2004 release, so we're talking about like the mid-2000s.
I was first exposed to this movie, at least I think, from when my dad rented it out, because back in, I want to say this is an 05 movie, right?
It's an 04 movie.
Okay. Yeah, back prior to 2010, we were still allowed to rent movies from places. And that is how we actually got exposed to a lot of relatively popular media back then, specifically Jet Li's Hero. We rented first. The theatrical cut of Kingdom of Heaven, which although I enjoyed is apparently very bad. I don't remember sitting all the way through that movie. But yeah, I remember Dad renting out this movie, and I'm like, it's okay. There are some really good bits in it, but I don't really care for it that much. And that opinion has stuck with me to this day. So,
and let it be known that the best and preferably the only way to watch this movie is uncut, unedited, no commercial breaks, which means you might have to actually buy a subscription in order to fully enjoy this movie to the max. This movie has endured a cult following since. I am a member of this cult. I am of the Cult of the Dead. I think that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost give some timeless performances, and some of their most youthful appearances. aside from the same British sitcom TV show where they and some other players in this film, as well as director Edgar Wright, had begun and have afterwards enjoyed numerous theatrical releases as well as cameos. Edgar Wright went on to direct Hot Fuzz and Baby Driver, which also showed some of the themes as well as his directorial style, which I'd be happy to elaborate on as the movie proceeds here.
Baby Driver, I've definitely heard really good things about. Anyway, are we ready to start?
Oh, we're ready to start here at Rock Rabbit Commentaries. Are you ready out there in movie viewing land?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, we're ready out there. I see you. All right.
All right, then.
So, as Mr. Gerda was ensconcing us in the exact moment that viewers like yourselves can follow along with Rocker Rabbit Commentaries, the very first thing you should see is the opening of the Universal logo with the eerie zombie music with 1980s video game music theming over it. As soon as you pop the movie on, it's going to get you into the mood for something a little darker than your typical comedy.
All right, then, everyone. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, press play. It's a universal go-go.
They call it a zomedy, Mr. Gerdad.
I've always been more partial and have heard it as zomcom, honestly, specifically due to Foamy the Squirrel.
This is Shaun. Shaun is a slacker.
He drinks, he smokes, he's your average British dude.
And he is easily distracted, so much so that he is ostensibly distracted from his own life. This is Ed. Ed is an even bigger slacker. He wastes even more of his own time, and he, honest to goodness, does not have any redeemable qualities whatsoever, except that he loves Shaun.
And he's decent at video games and trope identifying.
So while as much as this movie is an exploration of the tropes and the celebrated, recognizable tenets of a good zombie movie, this movie is first and foremost about the eponymous character Shaun and his life and how his life is about to change forever after. And also, let me say that as these characters talk about Shaun's life, his romantic struggles with Liz, and he gets hit in the face with hog lumps, that the chemistry among these characters is extraordinary. And you can lend this to their early working together on, I think the name of the show is Spaced Out or Just Spaced. I know that space is in there somewhere, but these
Are you sure it's
actors
Office
all
Space?
It's not Office Space. No,
Okay.
Office Space is a 1995 movie by the creator of King of the Hill.
All right.
Shaun's tie is untidy. Stop it like a ghost song.
So welcome to contemporary Britain in 2004.
You have a job. You have a name tag. Are you actually alive, or are you like the living dead?
People checking their rudimentary pagers and cell phones.
Everybody do the Shaun of the Dead.
Mm.
Are you paying attention to all these faces and characters that we're seeing in the opening montage? Because all of these characters make reappearances throughout the films, but as zombies.
So, you mentioned specifically that Dawn of the Dead is a satire, and to be perfectly honest, Shaun of the Dead wears its satire very out on its sleeve, as it were.
I mean, you're right that this movie does have satirical elements, like comparing these two couch potatoes sitting on a couch and playing Time Splitters 2 on PlayStation 2. Like, what does it mean to be alive? You know, what are you actually getting the full experience of being a living person versus being just another zombie in the mall? These things are present, but they are not the main concentration of the movie. This movie is just trying to get you to laugh, and it does that by like doing a bunch of zoom in shots with these loud and suspenseful sound effects, even though it's just people brushing their teeth and using the bathroom and making coffee. Like like this is ridiculous. This is Pete. Pete is their flatmate. So the three people living at this flat are Pete, Ed, and Shaun.
Yep.
And Pete has a problem with Ed. And finally, after all these years, I finally have screenshots of Time Splitters 2 for Rocker Rabbit Commentaries.
Ha 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 ha. Not really, no.
And Ed has the last laugh with his "I am a prick" sign on Pete's back. Prankster.
You see, that's a very old fart joke.
I'm sorry, Shaun. Best shared among one's most intimate friends is when you very solemnly declare, "I'm sorry," and then you just look in their face to see if they can smell it. And of course, because this is a movie like that, the characters have to verbally declare, like, yes, they're smelling something awful.
Mm. Hey, it's a papa dog. Dude, you spilled all the change on the ground.
Well, 'cause Shaun has a hard enough time paying attention to what he's doing. He's got to pay attention to what other people have to do, like pick up coins that he stupidly dropped on the ground. All right, is everybody watching close attention to this tracking shot of Shaun going to the store? Because you're gonna see this exact same tracking shot when he comes back to the store later.
Yeah.
Because Edgar Wright does that in a lot of his movies. Is if you see it once, you're gonna see it twice. You might even see it a third time.
Now that's an Easter egg that I didn't actually catch on my more recent watch through. The fact that the zombie virus is already actually hit, and the newspapers are talking about it.
Right. The entirety of the plot of Shaun of the Dead takes place over the course of 2 days. Well, 3 days. This is the second day. And much of like, you'd never get an explanation as to, like, where the zombie virus came from, like, how much of the world is affected. You're just watching as these characters are catching up to speed.
At the end of the movie, we get some stats. They're not very clear, but we do get some stats.
Right, but nothing conclusive, because that's finally not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is that the zombie apocalypse forced a lot of changes among the people who are experiencing it.
How the fuck is this guy 17?
You know, and some of these boys get big, and then you mistake them for grown-ups. They're not actually grown-ups. They're big-lip babies. You got red on you. You could save £100 if you buy today.
And here's where we get introduced to one of the smaller players in the movie.
Bill Nighy, a veteran of horror-themed movies. I mean, I bet you would feel intimidated if you had Bill Nighy as a stepdad.
Yeah, but then I would also feel intimidated having is it Bill Cranston?
Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston, thank you. I would have be intimidated having Bryan Cranston as a stepdad, so.
I also would be intimidated by having Bryan Cranston as a relative. Juxtaposition. Yes, juxtaposition also is a thing that happens very often in Edgar Wright films. Is they're going to hold you to the moment that the characters and what they're talking about and leave it absolutely perfectly well understood that, for example, right now, Shaun is not holding all of the pieces of his life together.
He is not. He's very, as you've already mentioned, he's very easily distracted, for one, and for two, he's not paying very much attention to all the shit that's happening around him, or even directly at him.
Right, like what is it going to take for him to take what's going on right in front of him seriously?
He missed the pigeon.
But why is he trying to grab the pigeons?
So that he can eat them. This is actually our first zombie in the movie.
The eerie music.
You see, I would think that our first zombie is actually tied to the bit that they do with one of the zombies later on. But no, very slowly the zombies are encroaching on this movie.
Like, for example, there's a zombie incident that's causing a massive traffic jam, so much so that Shaun, frustrated that his bus couldn't make it to the stop, decided to just get out and walk. This is Yvonne. Yvonne is Shaun's ex-girlfriend. They are exes, just demonstrating that Shaun has good qualities, but he is well far from perfect.
Yeah.
Shaun didn't make reservations on time. You know, it's funny. I just saw the health bar screen for Ed's current session of Time Splitters 2 when even the cover jacket of the game said it's the heir apparent to GoldenEye. It has to be the health bar. On the left side, you have the character health bar, and on the right, you have the body armor bar. And those same things are found in GoldenEye N64.
And Perfect Dark. Mostly because Perfect Dark is built off of GoldenEye, so.
Precisely. But Perfect Dark elaborated by giving you reload animations for all the weapons. It's also one of the few. This also is one of the few instances in films when you actually hear video game music as part of the background music for the movie itself. Specifically, Time Splitters 2, I think it's the scrapyard level. W is for Winchester. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Also notice that Shaun has not yet broken down from his work uniform.
He is not. Although, it's actually rather impressive that he is able to climb up. Oh?
No, because you're remembering from later in the movie when he actually does climb up the wall, Mr. Great, but he doesn't do that right now.
Okay.
And while these two are having their romantic argument, there is still visible TV broadcasts of the spreading emergency throughout the country.
And this is kind of what I mean. Shaun very clearly has a few too many things going on in his life, but they're all a lot of really small things that that if he actually cared about it, he would be able to focus and correct these problems.
Well, it's a good thing that this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like Shaun is supposed to be the relatable everyman with all these small real life problems that should be a bit more complicated to solve than they are. But from our perspective, these are very simple problems that would be easy enough for him to fix if he would focus on them. He just can't do it because, well, as we'll find out later, Shaun actually is a bit too safe in his life. Is the problem? He's a bit too safe and comfortable.
Oh, that's a good point. Is getting comfortable in one's own sense of safety, which is why when the zombies start breaking down his door, that he gets pushed out into a world where he has to rise above where he was and how he was and his flaws. Like giving his girlfriend flowers that were addressed not to his girlfriend but to his own mother.
Yeah.
And so Liz dumps Shaun.
And then the rain happens. Because it's Britain and it rains like every other hour in Britain.
London calling.
Dude.
Yeah. Sirens going off in the background, people dropping dead for no apparent reason. These things don't matter to Shaun. What matters to Shaun is he is heartbroken. And his friend Ed is trying to cheer him up. Edgar Wright trope number 3, musical interludes. Have a Bloody Mary first thing in the morning. And then come back to the bar for shots. Sound familiar?
Not really, but
Ed just described all of the events that are going to occur during the next day while they're fighting off zombies.
okay.
Because this is not the first like short length feature film that we've done for Rocker Rabbit Commentaries. This is very much in the formula of the short length feature film. Is by the time you actually get to the events of the film that constitute the core periods of the plot, that you already are well prepared for what's going to happen. And I would say part of Shaun's problem right now is that every time he has a bad day, he just entertains himself by getting drunk, smoking cigarettes,
to Ed bullshit about everything,
and listen to Ed bullshit about things.
Oh, also Chekhov's gun.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head, Mr. Gurdite. You're right. It is literally a Chekhov's gun.
Because we're ending Act 1, and in Act 3, the gun is actually going to get fired. Wah.
Yeah. Storytelling. Ibsen. Chekhov. Other famous playwright / short story writer. They're not leaving the bar quietly.
They are not, because they are too drunk to respect other people's problems.
Like, they could see what's happening if they would just pay attention.
Yeah, but that is Shaun's big character flaw. He's unable to pay attention to things because he's too comfortable.
And then when he does pay attention... Oh, it's party time. And it's time for Pete's reality check.
You see, I actually feel bad for Pete because he ends up being one of our first principal character victims here.
Well, I mean, Pete has Okay, so Pete has reason to be frustrated with Ed, but this is no way to settle one's differences, even with a flatmate, because he was about to hit the guy.
Hey, it was electro, not hip hop.
And Ed makes a comment on that.
And he is dead the next time we see him.
Well, good night, familiar world, and good morning, strange world. You ever have one of those nights where you're so drunk that, like, you are just desperate to set the pieces for yourself to pick up in the morning?
Thankfully, no.
I can relate.
Like, I don't think I would be able to sleep like that specifically because, those
Oh, he didn't
countertop.
sleep. I know, a very, very uncomfortable position, right?
Yeah. And so, day 2. The zombie apocalypse has fully encircled Britain.
And nobody has even left their cars.
Yeah, oddly enough, although we get to see some militarization through our news clips, like as far as we can tell from because most of the movie is told from Sean's perspective, there wasn't an evacuation order issued at all. So the hell happened, you know?
It just kind of crept up on everybody. By the time people realized what was happening, it was too late. And so we observe. He slipped on some blood in the shop. So we observe one of my favorite shots in the movie. It's like a 70-second long tracking shot of Shaun going back and forth from the store, so he can pick up Ed some ice cream at 11 o'clock in the morning. Do you think you would enjoy being a zombie extra in a movie, Mr. Gurdett?
No, I would not, because I have difficulty, attempting to do this level of shambling.
It's like, wow, you're a natural. What's your secret?
Ouch! 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 Ouch!
Hide the pain.
He loosed his puppy dog.
He ate his puppy dog.
Oh, he ate his puppy dog? That's even worse.
I mean, so one could surmise, because zombies, in the most readily understood sense of the word, are either cannibals or they're carnivores.
This is actually a common media trope that I actually really enjoy. When you flip through the channels and they're actually forming coherent plot sentences. That is honestly something that takes a lot of prep and effort to make work, and I honestly really enjoy it when it works out well.
I mean, I'm glad you said that, because it's just one of many products of Edgar Wright's genius when it comes to making movies like this. Now it's time for our characters to finally come to terms with what's been going on around them for the past 24 hours.
So they don't really respond to pain, but they somewhat respond to pain.
See, in any other horror movie, like the main characters would not be laughing this much. He's got good eyes to spot that name tag from like 6 feet away.
Yeah, as I've already brought up, specifically once Ed is no longer in his comfort zone and shit hits the fan. Once Shaun isn't no longer in his comfort zone and shit hits the fan, Shaun actually becomes extremely competent from this point forward. We don't really get that much of a chance to respect how competent he is, but he develops a lot of the emergency plans and executes on them very nicely.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a Polaroid camera. You see, back in the day, before digital photography, you used to have to get a camera, load it with film, and then every time you took a picture, you had to wind the camera to load the next shot. And as you were saying, Mr. Gurdett, now Shaun is preparing to take charge. Finally.
Ed, you can see their silhouette shadows. Come on, dude.
And the front door is open again. What's that door we keep forgetting to shut?
Not the
See,
PS2 controller. It's not going to do any damage. Thanks, Ed.
I got wood.
Shouldn't you drag the corpse out first?
Well, he's just not even really sure what he's looking at right now. And finally, Ed's decades of playing first-person shooters is about to aid him in combat.
I'm not entirely sure how. I don't think Ed actually gets access to a firearm until the middle of Act 3, so...
So, people who have played Time Splitters 2 would remember the zombies in that game, that once you take the head off of any of the zombie characters in the story, or in some of the mini games in one-player mode, that they will die immediately.
I do like the comedy sound effects that we get for the items. Those are nice.
Right, like flinging the toaster at Fat Boy, but the toaster just makes a doom, just glances right off. Time to get serious.
And
Break
this,
out the vinyl.
and this is ends up being the reference that inspires the one of the primary game clues for Sunset Overdrive.
Which is
Oh,
taking out...
Sunset Overdrive is what I think is now a defunct live service game that was set in a zombie apocalypse, and resources were so scarce that people, okay, due to the uh, as part of the aesthetic, people were using records as records and CDs as ammunition for their firearms.
Yeah, just like how in our playthrough of Dead Rising 1 that Frank was using cassette tapes and CDs as projectile weapons.
Yeah. This shot goes on for too long, to be perfectly honest, but it is... it's supposed to specifically portray how tanky and resilient to blunt damage that the zombies are, but it goes too long, honestly.
Well, I think the break off to just the two of them, like eating ice cream and sipping coffee on the couch, is a perfect cutaway shot from them destroying zombies.
Then they realize that Pete is probably infected.
Right, because the newscaster was talking about how if you've been injured by way of getting scratched or bitten by the assailants, that you should be isolated. Yeah. And they realize, oh, wait, wasn't Pete just complaining last night that he got bit on the hand by a mugger? Neither of these two have changed out of their clothes from the previous day. To those Americans who don't know what engaged means, it means busy. So
yeah, at this point in the movie, Shaun is still still doesn't actually like Philip, but yeah.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. Hey guys, good to see ya. Come on in.
Bullshit, Ed. Come on.
So Ed's problem is Shaun has trouble taking things seriously. Ed is utterly incapable of taking things seriously,
and that's the big setup for all of Shaun's problems in Act 1, specifically that he won't let go of his friendship with Ed, despite how much Ed is weighing him down.
So I don't know how the British handle their food and beverage service establishments, but as a general rule of thumb, in here, the good old US of A, you can't smoke indoors. Arm yourselves, men, with your shovels and your cricket bats.
But it's true, Shaun.
It's like, don't say the word zombie, but at least we know what we're talking about. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh,
And
whoosh.
then our next smash cut actually reveals that, and specifically that Pete's been in the bathroom the entire time, which is really weird because why has Pete been just standing in the shower the entire time?
Well, so it's funny you mention that, Mr. Gurdett, because zombies have different level of capabilities depending on the film that you're seeing the zombies in. Among zombie films that I've seen, the zombies in Shaun of the Dead are among some of the most docile and some of the least threatening among zombies you will see in pretty much any movie.
That's true.
And they do this for comedic effect because it's kind of hard to make a funny scene if you're being pursued by not shambling zombies, but like full-on sprinting zombies, like something out of Day of the Dead or 28 Days Later. Which honestly, now that I mention it, 28 Days Later would be the closest comparison you can get to this film, except that 28 Days Later is a takes itself seriously horror movie, but is also set in Britain, starring Cillian Murphy. The man who played Scarecrow in Batman Begins.
I don't remember that actor's name. I know it wasn't Michael Keaton because Michael Keaton played Batman in one of the earlier Batman movies.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale was the Batman from Batman Begins, but
He's like, yeah, we got it. Zombie apocalypse, blah, blah, blah. People rising from the dead, blah, blah, blah. Like just when you think you're about to feel something other than humor, that the movie just honks its horn and reminds you, hey, it's a comedy. It's a comedy. It's supposed to be silly.
bones aren't supposed to make that sound, Shaun.
What is that? Brian Doyle Murphy?
So do you recognize the guitar lick, Mr. Cloud?
No, actually, unfortunately, I only recognize some of the musical pieces that occur during this film.
Okay.
Most notably, the songs by Queen that occur later in the film. Now, after all that pre-planning with Shaun, the daring mastermind behind the rescue effort against the zombies, now he gets to see his plans actually in execution.
With a capital E.
Like, oh, you thought it was going to be so easy to deal with your now undead stepdad? Well, now you got to see how your mother feels about that, Shaun.
Sandwiches are always a nice thing to have. Like, if you were in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, how would you like to have your sandwich, Mr. Cloud?
After washing my hands.
Ah, okay.
Zombies don't talk. Damn it, stepdad. You sold all of my childhood toys. My past.
Which isn't enough for a zombie bite, dude.
Yeah, just run some water over it. You'll be fine. You can also see how much Shaun is thoroughly cloaking his soiled shirt so that his mom doesn't see all the blood on his shirt. One thing that made this movie a not an unsuccessful American release but an awkward one is that American ears are not exactly tuned to the subtleties of how the British like pronounce some of their words or even the presentation of the humor. That a lot of the jokes, for example, in this movie like Ed asking for ice cream first thing in the morning on the couch, those were largely lost on American audiences, but the Brits loved it. How does Ed crash a car that was parked?
By not having it parked. It's one of the smaller things that I actually dislike about Ed in general. Ed's incompetence ends up causing a lot more problems than it's supposed to.
A bad influence, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and for those Americans who are not aware, British cars are made with the steering wheel on the right side, not the left.
And so we have made it to Liz's flat.
All right, and game begin. Double points. Side swipe kill. You've got red on you.
Doom guy grunting noises.
And he actually made it to the window.
Hello.
See, if you talk about doing something long enough, you might actually do it. Shut up, Harry Potter. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say.
I mean, that's almost the correct use of the term.
He's learning. Now he knows what exacerbate means. See, he's not totally incapable. He just has to believe in himself.
That's a lot of pressure to put on Liz, guys.
Well, right now, Shaun is the only one who has any real objective anywhere other than just staying in the apartment.
Right.
The Winchester is the name of a rifle/gun firm that has sold numerous firearms and brands across Europe and the United States.
Primarily single-shot rifles. It's also the name of the pub that they're going to.
Well, it's called the Winchester.
Which is why the Chekhov's gun is mounted. You know. You see, I didn't catch that the first time around, but yeah, I caught it that time.
What, that Ed says the N-word because he listens to too much hip-hop?
Yeah.
So one trope in films is that bad things tends to happen to people who use racist terms. Oh, double points! The whole dogs look up thing is poking fun at their TV show days when the character that Ed plays also makes a similar assertion.
Ah, okay.
It does not actually have anything to do with the movie.
Aw, or having a tender moment before Philip becomes a deaded person.
Exactly. See, Shaun had come to despise this man, and yet, after all this time, despite the hard exterior, that his stepdad does love him.
Yeah.
Philip loves him. Triple points.
Thanks, Sean.
So you could tell Bill Nye was all about putting the misty eyes eye lenses on so that he could play the zombie part.
Like, seriously, Ed could have opened that fucking door.
No, the
He
child locks.
and the child locks aren't engaged from the outside.
No, they were. There was nobody on the outside. They had,
Ed was
until Ed came out and opened the door. They couldn't open the door from the inside.
But Liz opens that door.
Right. The passenger the rear passenger seat, the rear passenger doors were child lock engaged. And here,
Why
Ed,
not? It's
after
2
all
miles.
that, still finds time to put a cigarette in his mouth.
Like, Davey is honestly one of the more annoying characters in the movie. I dislike Ed's characterization, but Davey complains every fucking step of the way. So,
Right, and that's why he is. He's supposed. He is supposed to be a foil to Shaun. Like, Shaun has his flaws, but like you're saying, David, he's, for lack of a better word, he's a twat, which is the conclusion that the characters come to about him in this movie. Like, he doesn't actually, like, do anything useful. He spends most of the time just criticizing what other people are doing.
and this is honestly
Okay.
one of the more humorous bits that they actually keep calling back to in each act. Like there's an entire sequel movie going on in the background here that ends up having a more positive result than their movie.
Oh, you mean like these, like Yvonne and company, they have like their own story, and that the sequel is somewhere, like tune in next time and you might see it.
And they're all significantly better prepared, and their objective actually gets accomplished.
Oh, they accomplished what they set out right here, because now all the counterparts of Shaun's team and Yvonne's team, they all get to say, hey.
Yep. I do like the cinematography for that bit. I really do. But it makes me wonder, like, maybe that would have been a better movie to watch, you know? Actually having our characters succeed in their goals instead of, struggle constantly to fail to succeed in their goals. And then this is a joke that ends up coming back in Hot Fuzz, right? The
Yep. What's the matter? Never took a shortcut before. Which I'm not against directors making references to other films that they made. I mean, Quentin Tarantino did that in Pulp Fiction with Red Apple cigarettes.
And of course, because we haven't bothered to explain to Mom what the fuck's going on, she ends up in trouble.
No, we don't know that yet.
Whee!
Up.
Suspenseful wind chimes, Mr. Cloud.
Breakable fence. I love destructible set pieces in films because it is so easy to tell just by watching the movie, like, what they purposely, like, weakened and broken in order to make it easier for the actors to, like, just break through it with their bodies.
Pole arm!
Yes!
That is
It's
not
perfect.
how you would use that pole arm, Sean. Come on. Yeah, it's a spear.
Swing. Yeah. You killed the zombie, Shaun. Yeah, but first of all, there's no way there's no fucking way that Shaun has the strength to send that pole arm into the tree and pierce it.
Right.
Like stab the zombie, sure, but he's not about to nail the zombie with a fucking pole.
And then we get to see it. It's
Up
like
Periscope.
it's between 30 and 40 zombies. I mean, we don't.
Closer to 100, actually.
It's nowhere near 100. It might be 50, but it's not 100. You sure?
All right, Diane, it's time to put your acting skills to the test.
Not very convincing. Too much.
He looks like a monkey.
Bit too much.
And of course, Shaun, because he's the principal character, he does the best zombie impersonation of the lot of them.
No,
All together.
no, he's using his hands too damn much. Honestly, of them, I honestly think that David and Mom have got the best zombie impersonation here.
First of all, it is entirely plot convenient that this even works in the first place, because they have no proof that just pretending to be moaning, shambling zombies is going to protect them against these guys. But come to find out, it does.
Yeah, because as you've mentioned, these zombies very specifically are extremely docile.
And there go the biker twins.
And then they break character 20 feet away.
Well, they made it. But no, the ex-porn star is onto them. Ed, this is no time for this. Like, stop everything. I gotta talk to Noodle.
For the record, that is a berating that Ed is absolutely needed. It's just not the right time to have delivered it.
Well, thankfully, all the zombies are just patiently waiting for the actors to, realize that they're boned. I'm sorry, for the characters to realize that they're boned. And so Davis had emptied the trash can and broken open the window, but in emptying out the trash, we'll see later, so that moment when Shaun says, "Oh, bollocks," that was Simon Pegg actually getting freaked out by the appearance of that many zombie extra faces looking back up at him, like he was actually about to be, eaten alive by zombies.
It worked. Into the pub. Like
But then Sean's
seriously.
mom.
Well, they were, but they're not important right now. But yeah, seriously, one of the big things that I actually enjoy about this movie specifically that I've already mentioned is that Sean becomes hyper competent during from halfway through the second onwards, and he gets a lot of catharsis out of it. It's just kind of disappointing that we spent the first half of the movie effectively, degrading and debasing him simply because he wasn't really in his element.
Right. So the premise of character development is character starts in status A and then ends the story in status B.
We had someone taking control of the situation, and it wasn't you, David.
No, from going forward, I am the new Sean. I mean, that's true. You guys can have your way with the place. There's nobody else here. And you can see that Barbara was checking her wrist where she had gotten bitten by the man in his pajamas. But we're not supposed to know that yet. Sean did not let those hog lumps hit him in the face this time. This time, he was ready to catch them.
See, they actually bothered to take inventory of all their statuses that Sean needed to know the moment he came in. So what the fuck was David's problem?
You sound like you're describing a what was it, Left 4 Dead? What is the status of the Left 4 Dead party and the four players before they take on the zombie horde? A contemporary zombie video game? That's a lot of drinks in front of them.
It is. Most of them are on drunk though, because most of them are not have been consumed because all of our characters remain sober for the rest of the movie. So
Well, it's funny how there's dramatic drunkenness and there's like actual drunkenness. So sometimes the line in between gets blurred because as sure as in Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now that what's his name was actually drunk during the opening scene of the movie while The End by the Doors was playing and he broke a mirror with his hand. He was actually wasted at the time.
And remember, guys, it's 2004. Their cell phones don't actually have flashlights on them.
Oh, yeah. Well, so as far as we could tell, Ed was the only character who had a cell phone, and Shaun knocked it to the ground with the sound of battery and stuff popping out. Then Shaun realizes that they have a dire situation on their hands.
So a quid is 5 pound. Is 5 pounds, right?
Man, I don't know British currency exchange rates. I don't even. Well, I mean, I know they still use the pound as the main currency in Britain. And it has like a certain exchange rate with the euro. Because I'm only pretending to know at this point, but I don't think Britain is actually a member of the European Union anymore.
At least at the moment.
As of the recording date of this broadcast, yeah. But it was too late, too late, too late.
Too late to stop it.
'Cause he's a dipshit. He did it again. Now we are approaching the final act of the film, the zombie onslaught on the Winchester.
And here's one of the best bits of the movie.
In easily one of the silliest zombie scenes ever, that we get to see the main heroes fighting off zombies while listening to Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Stop
in
me
perfect
now.
synchronized fashion, too.
Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time. This is incredibly silly, but God, this sequence specifically is really fucking fun.
And Edgar Wright does this a lot in movies. I mean, Baby Driver takes it to like an absurd extreme, but yeah, there are moments in these films where the characters will be in sync with a soundtrack music piece that they're not supposed to be hearing because they're in the movie.
And see, David can't even fucking find the power cord for the jukebox.
Well, he's not trying to unplug the jukebox. He's trying to kill the fuse in order to stop all the power that's drawing the zombies, but because he's an incompetent, he's actually arousing the zombies even more by causing all these bright flashing lights because he doesn't know what he's doing. So if you look closely at John, the bar manager, he actually is wearing padding under his plaid shirt because they were actually hitting him with pull cues in order to set the effect of the scene.
That has got to fucking hurt.
Oh, you know it. That's one way to stop the jukebox, is to send a zombie's head through it.
It is loaded. Ha ha! Ow.
Whoosh, whoosh.
And they found
whoosh,
ammo.
Whoosh. You know, funny. It wasn't before I started seeing this film that now I understand why Shaun wrapped his tie around his head. It's not. It's not just so now he's wearing like a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger commando bandana. It's because he has a head injury that he's trying to blood clot.
See?
I love Guinness Extra. The zombies are coming in. Let's talk about beer. And now we are approaching one of the darkest moments in the movie. Both visually and thematically.
So, why didn't Shaun's mom actually tell the rest of the party? Because she tells Liz here.
Well, she explains herself.
He would.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. And this is what happens when a man with no firearms training outside of playing first-person shooters tries shooting an actual gun.
He hits one zombie, two zombies.
Right, we're not trying to hurt them, we're trying to kill them.
Three zombies.
Reload!
5 zombies.
So here we are in the midst of an entire city of London thoroughly under the zombie plague.
The shotgun.
And here it all comes down to just one person's experience and one man's loss. Shaun coming to terms with his mother about to turn into a zombie.
Yes, it has.
There's no time for crying in a funny movie. Make funny, not sad. Oh, things just got from sad to worse. Don't say the zombie word. There are no zombies here. Now it's fair. Okay, so this scene is not 100% morose. It is actually still in the elements and idiom of a comedy.
Mostly thanks to Ed and Diana.
Like, is that really what this movie is all about? Like, is that why the zombies have all started attacking London? Is because Liz and Shaun can't get on well enough? Did David start the zombie apocalypse in order to finally have Liz all to himself?
No.
And modern audiences are forgiven for not knowing who Charlton Heston is. I don't even know who Charlton Heston is.
He was a relatively famous actor.
He was an actor, yes. There's a lot of empty space in the center of this frame right now. Let's do something about that, shall we?
Now that she is a zombie, we can shoot her.
Just to, confirm.
David, you had the fucking gun, and now that she's actually a threat, you're too much of a pansy to do it yourself.
Exactly.
Six zombies.
Up close and personal. Unfreaking believable.
So how do we deal with the rest of the horde outside, Mr. Cloud? Thank you, Shaun.
By first punching David in the face. And that actually revealing that, if given the chance, David would have killed Shaun.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Fuck this guy. Let him go die. And that's it. It's standing right up next to the window. And in a deleted scene from Shaun of the Dead, David does actually try to say the words, "I'm sorry," but each time he tries, he mumbles it instead of actually saying it.
Right. But thankfully, instead of David becoming a zombie, he just gets consumed.
Oh, yeah.
This is
yeah,
the
baby. Look
goriest
at
part
this.
of the movie, and this is rather uncomfortable to watch on its implications. But
And then it ends on a silly note that not only is David decapitated, that each of the characters got a limb as a result of trying to save him.
and then Diana does the stupid, crazy thing and unlocks the door.
On the subject of deleted scenes, also, there is a deleted subplot in which Diane not only survives, but makes it to a safe zone after fighting her way through the zombies in an effort to try to save David. However, we do not see Diana's fate for the rest of the movie. She's just gone now.
Mm. And that's the instance where Ed ends up getting a bit right here. Hey, Pete.
Now, this is the instant when Ed gets bitten.
Okay, yeah, right there. He gets bit twice, though.
And as soon as he gets bitten, he knows that his slacker friend is indeed screwed.
Eight
Well,
zombies.
Shaun of the Dead does the Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me trope by making every instance in which a male character would be exposing full frontal nudity is actually blocked on every conceivable end, so you can't see either his crotch or his butt.
Ouch.
So, thank you, zombie.
Now Ed actually set this up before he got bit, so I like this this escalation.
He left the bullets on the bar.
Ironically enough, the box of bullets probably has more kills than Shaun has for this movie.
I'd say about as many. Will our heroes be able to make it out in time?
Technically, Ed's.
Well, so the reason why they were at the Winchester, they decided on is not only is it a familiar place, but Ed was looking for a place to smoke. So
Yeah.
in a way, Gerdette, yes, you're right. It was Ed's idea to come here.
I mean, it wasn't
Now
actually the
Ed's
most
dead.
terrible of ideas. They held out here for almost the entire day.
Now, after all this time, Shaun and Liz at last have a moment when it's just the two of them, for the most part. Ed is he's not dead, but he's a little indisposed at the moment.
Right.
And thanks to the latency between getting attacked by a zombie and actually turning into a zombie, Ed has a chance to have his day too. Thank you, Ed. See, Mr. Gerdette, nobody's perfect. Even Liz broke her pact not to smoke tobacco anymore.
Well, after he threw the cigarette pack at her place.
But now we see, because these characters are incorrigible cigarette smokers, that they actually found the switch that will allow them to escape the basement.
I'm gone, dude.
I'm sorry, Shaun.
I'm not entirely sure now is the right time to have a second fart joke, but it does work.
I mean, for goodness sake, Mr. Gurdett, this is this man's last chance
And he
to
decides
expel
to go out on a
flatulence for
fart joke?
comedic effect. Give him L for us, Ed.
Now, was he trying to make a Die Hard reference there?
No, he said gay.
Oh.
As in, oh, you just told another man you love him. You must be gay. Whips, fire axe, chains. It's time to do this together. On 3.
Lo and behold, military evacuation orders.
Now it's
From
time for the
Resident
what
Evil.
the fuck took you guys so long moment. Yeah, shoot 'em up montage. See, video game characters are not the only ones who can wield fully automatic weapons. The British Army is here.
So yeah, Yvonne was playing a Resident Evil game, and not only was she playing a Resident Evil game, she got the good ending.
I mean, it is true that this movie, in effect, does take a lot of inspiration from video games, as well as honoring video games. And so some good did finally come out of this.
Indeed. And then we have a time jump. So yeah, 6 months after Z-Day.
And that shot of the zombies stumbling through the park, that one black-shirted fellow who actually stumbled to the ground, that was director Edgar Wright.
No, it does not.
So we find that the zombies continue to have use long after their living bodies have stopped being useful.
And then we get some really weird shit too, man. You see, that's a question that we cut away from because we don't actually want the answer to that.
We don't want the answer. Does the lady actually sleep with her undead husband? We don't want to know. And so, after 6 months, Liz finally moves in with Shaun because now Shaun is out 2 flatmates, not just one. And we find that they are like-minded and that they like making plans for the day and then following through with them. And they still include going to the Winchester as part of their nightly activities.
Yeah.
See, it wasn't the pub that was making them bad. It was themselves.
And then we end on this particular joke, which I'm not honestly the biggest fan of. Like,
I love this.
I dislike this joke.
Like,
Ed,
are you surprised?
I'm not surprised that we get to see Ed here. But what I am surprised is that Ed is supposedly still playing video games. And I'm like, no. Video games still require a bit more cognitive presence than they're implying, Mr. Cloud. But yeah,
You know what? Damn right, Mr. Gurdett.
But yeah, this has been Shaun of the Dead. It's honestly a good zombie comedy. I don't like it nearly as much as I'm supposed to, mostly due to the fact that David, David and Diana really feel like add-ons, and then they end up fucking over the entire plot at the end of Act 3. So, uh,
I am laughing at your use of the word add-ons to describe how a movie that takes cues from video games sets up its characters.
yes, a lot of. But here's the thing, Mr. Cloud. In good zombie survival games, you get to abandon those people that you know are not going to be useful. Here, we're stuck with David for the entire time, and he doesn't shut the fuck up. Like, for while you were going through Dead Rising, you decided against rescuing a bunch of different hostages because they were too difficult to save because either they weren't actually willing to wield weapons or were terrible with them. You know?
Or that I couldn't fucking hold hands with them. I kept breaking contact, and because they're cowardly, they stood still while the zombies had their way with them.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck them, I say.
But getting back on track, this movie is actually really good. It is. It's honestly a very good comedy. I just don't like it as much as I'm supposed to. The cinematography, the plot line is extremely basic, but it works. The characters are definitely likable, but not as likable as I would like them to be. The cinematography itself is actually really damn good. There's only a couple of gruesome gore moments in its entirety, primarily when David gets ate, and honestly, if you're looking for a decent comedy to just chill out and hang out with friends with, this is honestly one of the better ones to pick from the library of comedies that are around. I don't think it's better than The Princess Bride. And when it comes to comedy movies, I'm not actually all the biggest fan of comedy in movies, comedy movies alone. But when it comes to rom-coms, I would take Hitch over this every day of the week. Every day of the week, man. Hitch is such a good
Okay,
rom-com.
I can see that. Right, like a romantic comedy that is not, shall we say, so gruesome. Although movies like that do exist, other than this one, I mean.
Um, would you consider Bride of Chucky to be a rom-com? Because it has romantic comedy moments in it.
Is so a romantic, mind you, a romantic comedy is defined as a film in which the romantic relationships between characters constitute the core. I mean, like the central aspect of the story that on which all other elements gravitate around.
So yeah, Bride of Chucky would definitely count then, because although it is played for both comedy and horror, it's played for both comedy and horror. It very specifically is played throughout the entire movie as the driving mechanism for that movie, or at least the driving mechanism for the narrative.
So all I'm going to say about Bride of Chucky is that Jennifer Tilly actually is at the center of the universe in that movie.
Yeah.
As in, like Jennifer Tilly just okay, like okay, she's playing a character. No, it's Jennifer effing Tilly, because she loves Child's Play movies so much that she decided she wanted to marry this psychopathic doll possessed by a murderer. So on that same point. Yes, Shaun of the Dead is definitely far out of center as far as romantic comedies go. This movie will be largely inaccessible to people who can't stomach the violence and in the horror aspects of the movie. Which is not to say that it is not a true die in the wool romantic comedy. It is, because from beginning to end, this is about Shaun and his relationship with Liz. Therefore, it's a romantic comedy.
Right. It does have interesting music as well.
You're my best friend.
Oh, supposedly they have both Time Splitters 1 and 2 in this movie.
That might be because some of the music pieces that occur during this film also were from Time Splitters 1. Because Time Splitters 2 did that. They brought some music tracks from the original game into the sequel.
Ah, okay.
I'm glad that I got to watch this film after all this time. I think that it aged beautifully. We could spot the things about the movie that did not age so well, but it holds up as a comedy. It's a well-told story, and this movie is worth revisiting every now and then.
Yes.
Just as the zombies come to revisit and feast on the flesh of the living.
All right, everyone. This has been us attempting to commentate over Shaun of the Dead. Next time, it's my turn to pick out a movie, and I've got a couple of ideas.
So first, we pick out a movie, we watch it, we talk about it, we talk about the things that are not so good, we talk about the things that are good, we talk about how we feel about it, and then we say farewell.
Indeed.
Sound good?
Be safe, everybody.
And thank you very much for watching Rocker